The best Bitcoin ETF, MSTY or YBIT. So let's take a look at the Yieldmax website for YBIT. You can see here a 35% distribution. And let's just go down here to the fund overview. And you can see here, this is a synthetic covered call strategy for more US select listed Bitcoin ETPs. YBIT is actively managed by Zega Financial. When selecting Bitcoin ETPs, on which trade options, Zega focuses primarily on the following two key factors: preference for Bitcoin ETPs that hold physical or spot Bitcoin over such ETPs that reference Bitcoin indirectly via futures contracts. Selection of Bitcoin ETPs that have sufficient option liquidity to support YBIT's trading activities. So synthetic covered call strategy with YBIT. And if we go over here to the MSTY page on Yieldmax, it's very similar. So we'll see a distribution on 87%. So that's not similar. That's actually, right around double. And we'll jump into, why we prefer one or the other, or why I like one or the other right now. But if we go down here to the fund overview, it's very similar. It doesn't say synthetic, which is, something to notice, but it does say MSTY or option strategy income. MSTY is an actively managed fund that seeks to generate monthly income by selling, writing call options. So selling and writing call options is the same thing. Selling calls and writing calls is just two words that are interchangeable on MicroStrategy. So MSTY pursues strategy that aims to harvest compelling yields while maintaining cap participation in the price gains of MicroStrategy. So, be aware that if you bought MicroStrategy, you could, come out ahead versus buying MSTY. If you're looking for 100% maximum performance, Yieldmax funds typically aren't the way to do that. But if you're looking to get those big dividends that'll support you in that FIRE lifestyle, that's why we're taking a look at these here. So I was doing a little bit of digging over the weekend, doing a little bit of research, and I know that we're having a pretty big dip today in Bitcoin. All cryptos really took a little hit, like in the middle of the night last night, which is usually raises some eyebrows for me. Seems like hunting for stop losses while everyone's sleeping, something like that. So if we look at YBIT versus MSTY on the Morningstar chart, and this is with the dividends added back in. You always want to add the dividends back in to get the full picture here with these income type funds. So I compared all of the time frames, pretty much every one that's available here on Morningstar, and YBIT came out ahead consistently. So that was a little bit surprising to me. I know MSTY is kind of the darling of the Yieldmax world, but if you look here on the 1 month, YBIT was up about 4% more. So this was down 3.9, whereas YBIT's 100% flat. And I can't find a good Bitcoin chart that'll tell me the actual outcome of 1 month versus 6 months, so on and so forth. Oh, it looks like it actually does right here. So it's 3.49%. So MSTY is pretty much in line with what Bitcoin's doing, whereas YBIT actually did a little bit better than what Bitcoin was able to do. So if we look at the 6 month here, let's check out the 6 month. Oh, we can't do the 6 month here. So let's check out YTD here. So we have 20.73% on Bitcoin from year to date, and then let's check out year to date on MSTY. It's up 16. So 16 versus 20. You're tracking the underlying pretty closely. And then let's check out YBIT on the YTD. Actually 22. So I saw that consistently. So I looked at all these different time frames here, and YBIT was consistently beating MSTY on every time frame except for one. There was one. The 1 year MSTY came out ahead. I'm not sure exactly why that is, but all the other ones on the the 3 month, you compare the two. YBIT, so this is down 6%, 6.2 on the 3 month, whereas this is up 10. So some of them were pretty significant, which is just something to keep in mind here as we continue through this video. So the main thing that I've noticed here is YBIT doesn't really have that NAV erosion like MSTY does. So when you look at a time frame on Bitcoin, like let's just use the 1 month for example, relatively flat, down a couple percent, relatively flat. If we look at YBIT on the 1 month, you can see that the NAV or the share price stay relatively flat too. So 1028 down to 999, not much share price destruction there. Whereas if we come over here to MSTY on the 1 month, went all the way from 18 down to 16. It's pretty substantial. And this is a time where Bitcoin was relatively sideways, and that's kind of what people's biggest qualm with Yieldmax funds is the underlying or the share price going down, it tends to make people upset or freak people out. That's why you have to factor the dividends back in. But maybe YBIT is kind of the best of both worlds. It's kind of that sweet spot Goldilocks zone where it doesn't have the huge NAV destruction or the huge share price declines, and it has a really healthy dividend of 35%. So maybe YBIT is that sweet spot. So the only thing to consider, when choosing between YBIT or MSTY, is kind of where you're at in that FIRE program. If you're looking to generate maximum income, MSTY obviously with the bigger yield is going to give you those bigger distributions. If you're looking to maximize performance and grow your account that way, YBIT looks to achieve that better. Comparing the two on these Morningstar charts. If we go over here to E-Trade and we look at the maintenance requirement on YBIT, it's 100%. And if we go over here to MSTY, it's the same. It's 100%. So that's not leaning us one way or the other. They're both 100%. And that's why I'm not able to put a ton of money into these funds, because it eats up so much equity. I keep my positions in here small. The professionals and the experts tell us is, don't really have too much crypto exposure, that it's, not really shouldn't be a big part of your account if you're investing conservatively. So let's take a look at these charts on E-Trade. I prefer E-Trade for my FIRE lifestyle account because of that special drip on Cornerstone. You're able to drip the dividend down at the NAV for that premium. So if you invested in Cornerstone, make sure that you're with a brokerage that can get you that special drip. If you need some help doing that, my buddy Todd, that's kind of put me onto this whole strategy over there on Conventional Wealth Ideas. He has some e-guides and a website and a Discord where people discuss how they're best playing Cornerstone. And if you need help understanding that type of stuff, check out his community that he's got. He actually is taking away. So if you buy his e-guides, which is basically like a book that he wrote to really dive deep into this type of stuff, if you buy his book or his e-guides by the end of the month, you're getting his phone number included with that deal. And you also get access to that chat room, the Discord chat room, included in the bundle. And he's taking that away at the end of the month. I think he's, giving out his phone number to almost 3,000 people at this point, and he's just getting, super overwhelmed. So he's doing away with the free phone number and the free Discord. So if you want to get into that community, jump on that by the end of the month. He actually gave me a promo code to help you guys out, to, urge you guys to jump in there before, basically the cost to get in goes up. So use promo code STEW, my last name, STEW, when you check out on his website or email him. Use promo code STEW and you get a 10% discount. So that'll just get you into the community and get you his phone number and get you those e-guides, which will really teach you, all about the FIRE movement. How to set up your account, how to play Cornerstone. There's a bunch of people in there discussing where the best loans are to grow your account as quickly as possible, and everyone's posting their ideas and whatnot. It's pretty awesome what he's got going on over there. So take a peek at that. But let's take a look at YBIT on the E-Trade chart here. So we're looking at YBIT on the 6-month chart, and if we jump over here to Bitcoin on the 6-month chart, we can see that Bitcoin was up 34% in the last 6 months. So then when we look at YBIT in the last 6 months, it's encouraging to see that YBIT was relatively flat over that time period, because if Bitcoin's going up and the ETF you're using to get Bitcoin exposure is going down, well, that should raise some eyebrows right there. But with YBIT being relatively flat with that 35% yield, that makes sense that Bitcoin being up 35%, YBIT being flat, it's tracking right in line with what it's supposed to do. But if we take a look at MSTY on the same time frame, on a 6-month time frame, we're going from up here around $20, $23 all the way down to 15. So we're getting substantial NAV erosion or substantial share price decline when at a time period when Bitcoin's going up. And that is due to that larger distribution, but it also brings up kind of my final points here with MSTY. Is with that premium that MicroStrategy has over the Bitcoin that it holds, it's trading what I've heard recently is around 2 times the value of the Bitcoin that it holds on its balance sheet. So basically, MicroStrategy is leveraged with Bitcoin, and those, basically that debt that it has on its books is needing Bitcoin to rise to convert those bonds basically to shares. So if Bitcoin goes sideways or Bitcoin goes down, the risk kind of goes up for MicroStrategy to be able to pay those debts effectively. So that's why you'll probably see that premium on MicroStrategy over the price of Bitcoin that it holds, compress if Bitcoin's unable to see a big rally. So that's another, thing to be aware of when investing in MSTY is you have single stock risk with MicroStrategy. So, you have, it's not directly just tied to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin can go completely sideways and MicroStrategy can get a big haircut because of that leverage. And, if investors lose confidence in the overall the way that Michael Saylor's, set up the business, you could, not do as well in MSTY as you could do in something like YBIT that's more directly tied to the price of Bitcoin itself. So now that's just something that I kind of learned, here in the last couple of months over, kind of how MicroStrategy does everything. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me, where we have leverage in our accounts by doing this FIRE lifestyle, with margin and stuff like that. Why would I want to take on even more risk buying something like MSTY that's leverage itself? So I'm leveraged with margin, and then I'm buying MSTY at 100%, but then MSTY's also leveraged as well. So I'm using leverage to buy stuff with leverage, and it just seems to me like unnecessary risk. So that's why it looks to me like YBIT is the better alternative here to MSTY, especially if we get that sideways to down Bitcoin environment. If Bitcoin doesn't get a big rally, MicroStrategy is going to be under a lot of pressure. There's a lot of eyeballs on MicroStrategy, and he's just trading at a premium right now. And if Bitcoin doesn't get that big rally, that premium is going to be exhausted, in my opinion. Of course, I'm not a financial analyst, or I'm not a stock guru by any means. I'm just reporting what works for me and what's led me to this point in my life right here. Being alongside Mr. Akin for the last 15 years, I've learned a lot with him, and he's learned a lot from me. And we've been at this together for quite some time, and came up with these strategies that he's able to share with you guys. I was away this weekend at a convention, but he said the Teams chat was really exciting, and it was good to interact with you guys. So hopefully I can be a part of those in the future. So just wanted to make this quick video today. I know we're at a pivotal moment here for Bitcoin. So I know you guys are probably wondering what is going to be the best way to play that. Hoping for a bounce here with Bitcoin. So don't forget about the promo code STU. If you guys haven't bought the bundle yet or haven't bought the e-guides yet, definitely do it. Like I think I said this. Oh my gosh, what did I just do? It's alright. I have it saved on here somewhere. Like I said, you guys, that the strategies that me and Todd came up with to come up with the FIRE movement, it cost us hundreds of thousands of dollars. You can buy his e-guides for a couple $100 and save yourself from having to lose the money that we lost to learn this stuff. So there we go. Let's get it back. There's my 10-day average. All right, awesome. All right, you guys, well, have a good rest of your day, and I'm going to try to crank out another video or two this week, and I'll see you guys in the Discord and over at Circle.